Today, the first thing I want you to do is to finish doing your pumpkins. Remember, doing lightest to darkest. So I'm going to start with my light yellow. Then my next yellow, remember I'm tracing or I'm coloring in the direction of the pumpkin. In the direction of the pumpkin. And I'm stopping at this pumpkin because remember it's overlapping. This one is on top. And finally my darkest color at the bottom. And I will finish by adding a little bit more white on top because the moon is shining down, and black for the pumpkin stem. I will do the same to finish up. This one is on top this time. So I'm going to cover the whole pumpkin. I'm moving pretty quickly, but you second graders want to move a little faster or a little slower than I am. And take your time when finishing up. What am I looking for? Darkest to lightest. And then to finish it with a highlight of the moon on top. So go ahead and finish coloring all of your pumpkins. Go. After you finish coloring all your pumpkins, we need to add a few more details in the pumpkins. We are going to outline all of our pumpkins and add some pumpkin lines. So again, I'm going over all my pumpkins and adding those pumpkin lines, giving them a little bit more definition. Notice how it's curving with that side and curving with that side. Okay, so I'm curving, a little less curve over here, and then I'm slowly going to turn and curve this way. And I don't want to forget the outline. Now if your oil pastel gets a little dirty like mine, you can wipe it off on a paper towel. So this one is on top. Make sure you're thinking about which pumpkins are on top and which ones are behind for overlapping. When you're ready, go ahead and start tracing your pumpkins and drawing pumpkin lines. Go. Now that we have some details, more details on our pumpkins, we have to do our moon. So we're going to take our white oil pastel. Okay, if you have a lot of black, maybe you want to wipe it off on your paper towel, not on the table, on a paper towel. And then you're going to go ahead and actually color your entire moon with white oil pastel. Go. Then to give it a little bit more definition, we're going to come in with our lightest yellow at the bottom. So it looks a little bit more rounded and like a circle. More 3D than 2D. Just at the bottom, just like that. Go ahead. Now that we have the moon shining down, we have the highlight on our pumpkins, we also need to highlight on the stems. So I'm going to do a little highlight on all of my stems so that you can tell that the moon is shining down on all of our stems. Go ahead and add white highlights just at the top of your pumpkin stems. Now the next thing we're going to do is the sky. In the sky we're going to use, you could use black, you could use dark blue, we could use a light blue. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start and bring in some dark blue. I know it'll be kind of hard to see. I'm going to bring it some places, not necessarily everywhere. Then after we've got the dark blue in there, we can go ahead and add some light blue for some highlights, very lightly. And finally some black, because it is midnight. So go ahead and start coloring your sky. When you're done coloring your sky, if you want to, you can go in there with your white oil pastel and make some stars. You could do this with white, you could maybe do this with a light yellow. Put in lots of stars. Go ahead. And the final step to our midnight pumpkins is to go in and add some texture in the grass. Now just like our pumpkins, how we have a highlight at the top because the moon is shining down, we have to do the same thing with grass. So we'll start with a light green at the top and then work our way down to the darkest green at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to start with a really light green. And I do want the texture of grass. So I'm not going to color smoothly necessarily, but I'm going to kind of color in the shape or the way that maybe grass would be. Right on that horizon line. And then the next, it's okay if it's mixing with the blue a little bit. Then I'm going to take my next lightest green. And I'm going to color a little more. Want to make sure you don't see any black paper behind. So go ahead and do your two first layers of grass. after you've done your first lightest colors, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to do your medium green. This will be the majority of your grass color. So I've started already. But you want to make sure that you're going around your pumpkins cleanly, leaving the stems nice and crisp. You can see them. And again, I'm kind of going in the way and the texture of grass. You want to fill in as much black as you can, keeping that texture. And we can go back and we can add some texture in after we're done coloring our medium green. Again, we're doing the majority of it medium green. And then once you've gotten probably to your biggest pumpkins, that's when you can start doing your dark green. I'm carefully going up here. So I think I'm ready here to start doing my darkest green. So I'll bring in, it's almost a forest green. And I'm going to finish with forest green all the way to the bottom of my paper. Again, I'm overlapping. And I'm going around, carefully around my pumpkin. So when you're ready, go ahead and start doing your medium and your darkest green in the grass. And to finish, we can go in and add some more highlights, some grass. So maybe I'll take my lighter green and I'll kind of bring some grass texture in there in the bottom. Not too much, we don't want to look too messy, but we can bring some of that in. We can even bring some of the dark up in the light. Make some grass texture lines. When you're done, you will have a midnight pumpkin landscape with big pumpkins in the foreground, medium pumpkins in the medium ground, and in the background you have a moon with some small pumpkins. Now you have a midnight pumpkin landscape.